Somebody that we just been waiting to hear from ever since the Baltimore Ravens fell short against the Buffalo Bills last Sunday in the divisional round of the playoffs is Mark Andrews. But why? Well, it's simply because while Mark Andrews was not the end-all be-all, he was not the sole reason that the Baltimore Ravens lost that game. He definitely contributed in a major way. Well, first, there was, of course, the drop early on in the game where the very next play after his drop, Tyler Linderbaum did a high snap, and then Lamar Jackson, he ended up fumbling. Now, wow, Mark Andrews did not cause Lamar Jackson to fumble the ball. Had he caught that pass, hey, who knows what would have happened. But even more importantly than that, there was Mark Andrews' fourth quarter. And it was rough because, of course, Mark Andrews, he had a big catch, but on that big catch, he tried to get some more yak. And I still stand by Mark Andrews with that. I have no problem. I do not think it was a bad move for him trying to get extra yards. It's something that he's been doing for years, finding ways to get more yards, trying to make the most out of every single play. So I don't fault him for trying to get more yards, but I will fault him for not holding on to the ball. And he fumbled. And that was tough because that was a possible go-ahead drive for the Baltimore Ravens. But then the play that so many people have highlighted and we've watched over and over and over, and it hurt us Ravens fans to our core, was when Lamar Jackson, without a Zay Flowers, when Lamar Jackson, without a Rashad Bateman, Lamar Jackson with Anthony Miller, with Tylan Wallace, with Nelson Aguilar, Lamar Jackson with the season literally on the line, drove the Baltimore Ravens down the field, 90 yards in a little less than 2 minutes, and they scored a touchdown with Isaiah Likely. So Baltimore Ravens drew up the 2-point conversion, had it intended for Mark Andrews. Was a beautiful play, was a well-designed play, was a perfectly designed play. But Mark Andrews, he dropped it. And we hadn't heard from him since. In the post-game interviews following the loss, we didn't see or hear from Mark Andrews at all. So a lot of us figure, all right, well, Mark Andrews, he didn't want to talk right after the game. We get it, but Ravens getting ready to clean out their lockers. So when they clean out their lockers, oh, yeah, he going to be there for sure, right? Nope, he wasn't. So a day passed, then another day passed, and we hadn't heard anything from Mark Andrews. We heard from Buffalo fans who actually, they raised like, I think, $90,000 that went to a charity that Mark Andrews supports, just to show some love for Mark Andrews. But we still hadn't heard from him. Not until today, because Mark Andrews finally broke his silence with a post that he made on Instagram. And let's read exactly what he said. He said, "It's impossible to adequately express how I feel. I'm absolutely gutted by what happened on Sunday. I'm devastated for my teammates, my coaches, and Ravens fans. I pour every ounce of my being into playing at the highest level possible, because I love my team and the game of football like nothing else. That is why it's taken me until now to collect my thoughts and address this publicly. Even though the shock and disappointment are unlike anything I've felt before, I refuse to let the situation define me. I promise that this adversity will only make me stronger and fuel us as we move forward. I thank everyone who has shown me and our team genuine support these past several days. Despite the negativity, I've seen heartfelt love and encouragement, including from those who have generously donated to the Breakthrough T1D organization." Okay, so Mark Andrews gave a shout out to those Buffalo fans. He said, "Even when the moment seems darkest, perspective can reveal that there's still a lot of light in this world. I'm now going to do my part to bounce back and contribute to it. Hashtag God bless." I like that. I really like that. And I'm sure we'll hear from Mark Andrews sometime in the future, in the near future. But I do like that because Mark Andrews is obviously letting us know that it's tough. Mark Andrews is obviously letting us know that it's been rough. Mark Andrews is letting us know that it's a big time disappointed. He feel like he let a lot of people down. It's a tough moment for him. It's a tough moment for them. And he apologized to everybody. But despite that, and he even said, in spite of the negativity, I'm going to still try to make this a positive. And that's a beautiful thing. You got to feel for him. You got to feel for him. Because that's like because I know that there's been a lot of back and forth when it's come to this topic. When Mark Andrews, oh man, he didn't address the media. Mark Andrews, speak up. Mark Andrews, say something. Mark Andrews, how come you ain't even stepped to the podium or nothing? What's that? But at the same time, something that I just thought about, what could he have possibly said? that's going to do anything for anybody. Because the moment happened. It's done. Obviously, we watched the game. We all watched it together, and we saw what happened. But what's Mark Andrews? What could he possibly say that could do anything? I'm sorry. If he says, "Oh, I'm sorry," people gonna be like, "Oh, man, sorry for what? You dropped that pass. You should have been sorry when you caught the ball." What if he says, "I messed up"? Oh yeah, well of course you messed up. You dropped the pass that led to a tie in the game against the Buffalo. What exactly should he or could he have said that would have done anything? Because initially I wondered about it, and I've seen people ask about it, because they talked about Zay Flowers. They were like, well, Zay Flowers, after last year's AFC Championship game where he had that fumble, he spoke to the media, and he did. So shout out to Zay Flowers. He addressed it head on, and he ain't run. He ain't hiding nothing like that. But then with Mark Andrews, we ain't see him. He disappeared. We hadn't heard anything from him. Obviously, no interviews, anything like that. No pressers, no social media, nothing from Mark Andrews. But what would he say? And I would have definitely respected it if he would have spoken to the media and whatnot, and spoken after the game and whatnot, especially him being one of the captains on the team. That's something right there. Because captains of the team, they are the ones that, when everything's in doubt, when everything's looking bleak, when everything's looking grim, they'll still stand tall for the team, in front of the team, and with the team as well. But maybe that play it had him distraught, because it was like, whew, like imagine like how we felt as fans when we saw him drop it. We were all like, oh my goodness. I know for me, I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, this really just happened. It really just happened. But imagine the person who was actually a part of it. Imagine how he felt. So it's very, very tough, very, very tough situation. But glad Mark Andrews seems to be in a much better place right now. And he actually spoke up on what happened and addressed it. So shout out to Mark Andrews. Now, as far as Mark Andrews' future with the Baltimore Ravens, he got 1 year left on his deal. Isaiah Likely got 1 year left on his deal. Charlie Kohler got 1 year left on his deal. Ravens got some decisions to make very, very soon, whether it be this offseason or the following. But as we know, Ravens like handling stuff sooner rather than later. So I'm sure we'll get some answers on something pretty soon. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos, where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com. Or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send your question directly on Patreon. And if you would like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. And also a special shout out to our Team Keep It Clean channel members. This first question, it came from Tre. He said, "What's up, Ingraven? What's up, Tre?" He said, "Love the channel, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you for that." He said, "I know you don't care about financial support, but I'll start supporting you soon, man of God." No, it's all good. If you can, cool, great. If you can't, cool, great. Either way, it's all good. This is support enough for me, so I appreciate it, man. He said, "Anyway, what do you think about the Ravens using Henry and Hill in a 2 halfback set more often? Oh, so having both of them boys out there on the field at the same time. That could be nice. I think that would really open stuff up for Justice Hill. Because if Derrick Henry's on the field and Justice Hill's on the field, and then, of course, you got Lamar on the field, they're going to be focused. Their main focus, especially in the run game, is going to be on Derrick Henry. It's going to be on Derrick Henry. So there could be some fakes to Derrick Henry. There could be some screens to Justice Hill. They could do so much stuff with that. So I wouldn't mind if they did that. He said, even in passing situations, you have the run element there with all three of them, or even just using Henry and Hill as pass blocking backs. Well, not both of them, because if you have 2 running backs as pass blockers, then that takes away a weapon on the field. So no, at least one of them will have to go out for something. But he said that way the defense has to consider more. We were too predictable this year. A lot of times with Derrick Henry, when he was on the field, and then you knew 99% of the time it was going to be a run. When Justice Hill was on the field for a while, 99% of the time it was going to be a pass. But then they slowly started to transition, not out of that, but it became less predictable as the season went on. But it was still majority of the time Derrick Henry was there, it was going to be run. Majority of the time Justice Hill passed. So having having both of them on the field, yeah, that could definitely switch some things up and leave a lot less predictability for Baltimore Ravens offense. Next question came from a Team Keep It Clean patron. It came from Montana. It said, hey, Ingraven, first off, thank you for another incredible season of insightful content. Your channel has been extremely informative. I appreciate that, Montana. Thank you. So as I continue to process the playoff loss, I've noticed a lot of disappointing hate and frustration directed at Mark Andrews. While his lack of production in this game hurt, I can't overlook the fact that Andrews has consistently been one of the top 5, if not top 3, tight ends in the league. Yeah, we always talk about that with Mark Andrews, because obviously his drops get highlighted, but I think the playoff Mark Andrews, it's been crazy because the playoff Mark Andrews has been rough. Regular season Mark Andrews, it's been amazing. And I know a lot of people will be, hey, that sounds like Lamar Jackson too. But anyway, Mark Andrews, he regular season, amazing. And while even though he does have his drops at times in the regular season, he makes a whole lot more plays than he misses. But anyway, he said he's given us so many incredible moments. And although this season may not have been his best, it was really good. He got like 10, 11 touchdowns. So yeah, and then while it wasn't his best, it was still pretty good. And for him to get 10, 11 touchdowns and he started off so slow, like, that's amazing, man. Anyway, he said, even though this season may not have been his best, I really wish Ravens flock would uplift him in times like these. Now, Montana sent this on January 21st, so a couple days ago before the message came out. But anyway, he said, no one played a perfect game. Yeah, no one did. There were missed opportunities and mistakes on both sides of the ball. With the game on the line, I understand you want to trust someone like Andrews, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out this time. It didn't. And then I've seen the clips going around with people like, oh, man, Ravens in these 2-point situations over the years, they've continued to go to Mark Andrews and it keeps on failing. There was the one against Pittsburgh, and I forgot what year that was, where Mark Andrews, he dropped it. It was a great play call. Mark Andrews dropped it. Then there was the one, I don't know why people were showing the one that Tyler Huntley threw to him against the Green Bay Packers in a regular season game. But because the defender just made a great play on the ball. Like, Mark Andrews couldn't have done anything about that. And then they, of course, showed the one against the Bills. But anyway, he said, how do you feel about singling out and blaming one player in a team sport like football? Oh, yeah, that's what we talked about earlier. Mark Andrews, he was a part of the loss, but he was not the sole reason that the Baltimore Ravens lost. What hurts about Mark Andrews, the plays that he made and the plays that he didn't make, is the timing of it. Because of the timing of it, that it heightened what that meant. Because had he had a drop early on in the first quarter, okay, and he did have a drop in the first quarter. It was the second quarter. Either way, it was in the first half. It was in the first quarter, I think. Either way, but had he had a fumble in the first half of the game, it's like, that sucks. Come on, Money Mark, what are you doing? But then later on in the game, Ravens in a position to still win. Oh, okay, yeah, he had that fumble, we still were able to come back. But it's when it happened. That's what it was for Mark Andrews, because it happened in the fourth quarter. It was 2 significant things that happened in the fourth quarter: the fumble, and then that took away point, and then the drop. And it was like, oh man, that's why so many people have been focused on that, and that's tough. And he said, again, thank you so much for all that you do, and stay blessed. Appreciate you, Montana. Next question came from another patron, Keyonte. He said, Flock, stand up. Hold your heads up. It's over this year, but it's a new season coming. I wanted it this year, but I always was skeptical with the every 12-year New Orleans and 28-year-old QB storylines. Felt like a setup to start. I felt like it was a nice setup, but obviously not. He said, stop bashing Mark. It was a collective loss for the whole team. You can't lose a turnover battle and expect to win. That's true. Mark was part of that turnover battle. He was, though, but Lamar with the interception and then the fumble too. So yeah, he said, but I will say this: I think the interview should be done after exit, never during the postseason, because the offense looked stale. Oh, you talking about the coaching interviews? It's tough, man. I get what you're saying though. He said it became predictable too early, and the explosive plays came at desperate times, but we will be back. Oh, they better. Next question came from another patron, Sevun. He said, hey, Ingraven, I was going to send in a question earlier, but that game had me in a pit for some days now. Moving on to next year, I was wondering, how would you feel if we went all in and got Jalen Ramsey? Oh, that would certainly be somebody opposite Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins that could help out a good amount. And we know that boy, he had some rough moments this year, but I mean, that whole Dolphins team did. But we could change him. But he just recently got a new contract from the Miami Dolphins, so Jalen Ramsey, he ain't going nowhere. I wouldn't mind it, though. He said, I would love a wide receiver, but I know how the Ravens move. Hey, he said, I think Ramsey would fit our defense perfectly, scheme and mentality-wise. He's not the most likable player. He said, but his heart is undeniable. Yeah, good player, physical player too. So we will be getting somebody who's physical, like a Brandon Stevens, not afraid to come up and tackle somebody, not afraid to come up and hit somebody. He'll talk his trash too. He'll run his mouth, but he's somebody that has made a lot of plays at the cornerback position over the years. But yeah, with that new contract that he got in Miami, it ain't happening. Next question came from another patron, my guy Hoodie Megatron. He said, "Ang, how you feeling today?" I'm good. I'm really good. He said, I hope your day was peaceful. I've been talking to Bills fans and they really feel for us. The way the media pinned Josh and Lamar against each other is unfair. I would have wanted Lamar to get this one, but if it's got to be Josh, then I'm riding with it. I'm not mad and upset, just disappointed, but I still believe. Ooh. Now, wow, I am moved on from the loss against the Bills. I couldn't stomach that. That would just because right now, when we go back and forth, with Bills fans. We go back and forth with Bengals fans because we got some nice quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, obviously. Then Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. We go back and forth with them and whatnot. Then when we dibble and dabble in the NFC, oh yeah, we talk Jalen Hurts and whatnot. But it's like in the AFC, those are the heavy hitters. And obviously Patrick Mahomes, I left him out because he got a million Super Bowls already. But none of those other guys got one. So I could not stomach it if Josh Allen, if he got one before, I would be because when it came to Bills, we wouldn't be able to say nothing. And I mean, right now, we really can't say nothing because they kicked us out. They kicked us out the playoffs. We can't say a thing. So it's any trash talk that we would try to do to Bills fans, they will be look, now you can't call us ringless. We've been to 5 Super Bowls, but we got one now, baby. We wouldn't be able to say nothing. Next question came from my guy Omar, who's also a Teamkeepitclean patron. He said, "Hey, Ingraven, I hope everything is going well for you. Oh, everything is really good. I hope everything going even better for you, my friend." He said, "Tough loss." Gotta say it again, tough loss. Yeah. He said, "I don't have any insightful observations about the game that you won't already cover. My question to you is this. When will the focus..." Oh. He said he's ready, man. He said, "When will the focus on your channel shift to roster changes and the draft?" I don't want to jump into that too early if you still need time to digest this game. As always. Appreciate your insight. We're going to get there soon. Really, really, really soon. I would say more so after the Super Bowl, after that's officially done, because then it'll be off season for literally everybody. And then some more moves will start being made. We'll be approaching free agency and the draft season and all that. So we'll get there soon. Next question from another Teamkeepitclean patron, my guy Martin. He said, "I'm sad I know Lamar will win the Super Bowl. It's just frustrating we held the Bills to 6 points in the second half." Really? I didn't even realize that. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that makes it worse. But yeah, it is what it is. He said, "And for once, I don't think we can blame Harbaugh." Boom. Spot on. We can't. This game was not a bad game by Harbaugh at all. Anyway, he said, actually, as I was typing this, I realized that we won't have even had to, we wouldn't have even been forced to go for 2 if we didn't go for 2 in the first half and fail. So I can put that on the coaching staff. But that was not a bad move for them to go for 2. It really wasn't. I don't think it was. I know some people still feel like it was, but I don't. He said, "But we didn't see the normal scared Harbaugh. Although I will say in both our playoff games, the pass rush was non-existent. Adafe and Ajabo can't get off blocks to save their lives, and Kyle Van Noy was struggling to get off blocks too. Now, we did, we were going against one of the best offensive lines in the league, but yeah, still, we weren't disruptive with the defensive line at all. At all." He said, "I still hope we bring back Kyle Van Noy." Well, he signed to a 2 or 3 year deal. I think 2 years, something like that. Anyway, I hope we bring back Kyle Van Noy. Adafe is all speed and no power. And I don't know, I don't really know who is what, but we had an opportunity for a pick. It hit him in the arms, and then somebody dropped it. Somebody dropped the pick? You sure? I don't remember nobody dropping a pick in that game. I really don't. But anyway, he said, "I know Lamar didn't play a perfect game, but come on, no QB is going to be perfect every single drive. And plus, when we needed it the most, he drove down the field and got the touchdown." He did. His first half was up and down, had more downs than ups. He got the touchdown, but then removed them from getting a touchdown because they did that play action, the fake to Ronnie Stanley, and then he had the fumble too. But second half, he was doing what he needed to do, and he put them in position to come back. But yeah, anyway, he said, "I felt like we actually played a good game, but the 3 turnovers killed us. And now there's nothing that we can do." Yeah, not until next year. And he also said, "One more thing, man. I pray next year people will, in the live stream, hold their negativity until after the game, because we were in the game all the way up until the end." I mean, you know how people get. I mean, it is what it is. We ain't tripping over that, but it is what it is. He said, every time there was a big play for the Bills chat, they were immediately saying, good game, or I'll see you next year, when there was still plenty of game left. Like, come on, guys. Flacco literally showed us the game, and he isn't, it isn't over till it's over. And he said, Lamar will win. Yeah, man. Because that's how I was feeling, too. Like, the game, there was some moments, some rough moments. Bills will go up. They went up multiple scores. But I was thinking, no, Ravens still got it, man. They still got it. And I know, like, a lot of people that were saying, oh, it's over, it's over. They were watching like, oh, I hope it ain't over. Oh, no, it ain't all the way over. But let me just say it anyway. Oh, it's over. Good game. See you next year. But, so, yeah, it is what it is, man. And now, yeah, we'll see how it goes next season. Next question from another Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy Plex. He said, this was a mid-game update. He said, it's halftime and it was bad. We scored on the first drive, then proceeded to let them score. We threw an interception, but we don't let them score. We fumble and they get a touchdown. We get to the 2 and end up kicking a field goal. Oh, my goodness. Just reading it is just ugly. It's ugly. He said, they then go down and get a touchdown. That pass interference was bad, but I knew they would get a makeup call from that imaginary hold. Yeah, that I forgot about that holding call that they called on Deion Dawkins, I think he was going against either Ajabo or Dafeaway, one of them two. And I was like, oh, that's a terrible call. I saw somebody post a clip and say, no, that was actually a good call. He grabbed the jersey, but I didn't see him grab the jersey at all. But anyway, he said, we can't let them score in the second half. We need 2 touchdowns and a shutout. Oof. Well, let me tell you something, Plex. But he also wrote this. He said, post-game update, terrible way to lose a game. Turnovers were the reason that for the loss, 2 fumbles and an interception. The interception wasn't as bad because they didn't score, but those 2 fumbles were critical. I would say the interception, the Bills didn't score, but also the Ravens didn't score either because that interception killed the drive. So I think it was bad. But anyway, he said especially that last fumble. Mark Andrews and his shortcomings in the playoffs continue to haunt us. Fumbling a crucial drop. We lost the game. Play calling wasn't bad. I appreciate you acknowledging that because it wasn't. The only bad play call was the play action on the 2. Outside of that, no complaints. Maybe the first 2-point attempt could have been better, but that's me nitpicking. The defense didn't make any real plays. Bills went 4 for 4 in the red zone with 3 touchdowns. They got stops, but who made a play? Run defense was not good. Offensive line was solid. Bills went all in on stopping Henry, but he still did well. New Money Justice did what he does. Receivers were cool. The game came down to 3 plays. Those 2 fumbles that resulted in 10 points and the drop 2-point conversion. Coaching wasn't an issue. It wasn't. He said, I can't say fire Harbaugh like I have in the past. Are things stale? Maybe, but that's a conversation for another day. Plenty of people going to bring it up. He said, Zach Orr turned things around. He really did. He really did. He said, I definitely wanted him gone by midseason. Hopefully we can keep this staff together. Being in a Super Bowl or bust window is tough because, the regular season matters because we need to win enough games to make the playoffs, but the games really don't matter until the playoffs. That's what we're playing for. Lamar will probably win another MVP, but who really cares? I know he doesn't. He's made it clear that the goal is winning the Super Bowl. I haven't dropped the question in a while because the games didn't matter until now. Yeah, I remember seeing you in the live stream that other day. And I said, man, Plex, you ain't seen no question in a minute. But, man, we know why now. He said, what needed to be said? Excuse me for the length of this and how I'm all over the place. How hopefully we put it all together next year. Looking at the team, what do we really need? We could improve at guard. Yeah. Absolutely got to get a corner. Yeah, Brandon Stevens gone. He said, I know he's gone, but my goodness, Brandon Stevens was so bad. Pass rush could get some help. They certainly could. But what's the real hole on the team? The position where if we improve, we definitely win it all. We've had enough the past 2 years. We have. We really have. Our window hasn't closed. I'm just rambling at this point, LOL. I'm going to end it now, and I'll be back when I get my thoughts in order. It didn't seem like rambling at all to me. It seemed like you had literally everything in order as you were stating it and going through just everything that happened with the game and with the team and the outlook on moving forward with the Baltimore Ravens. He also said, I'm back. Has Mark really never scored in a playoff game? That can't be real. Come to think of it, it might be. I was shocked when I found out that he got his first touchdown against the Steelers this season. I hate to pile on a guy on the worst day of his career. It hurts my heart, but he got to make plays when it matters.